Luke, chapters 10 through 11. And after this, the master appointed 70 others and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him into every city and place where he himself was about to go. Then he said to them, "The harvest indeed is great, but the workers are few. Therefore, pray that the master of the harvest sends out workers into his harvest. Go. I send you out as lambs into the midst of wolves. Do not take a purse, nor a bag, nor sandals, and greet no one along the way. Whatever house you enter first, say, 'Peace to this house.' And if indeed a son of peace is there, your peace shall rest on it, and if not, it shall return to you. And stay in the same house, eating and drinking whatever with them, for the laborer is worthy of his wages. Do not move from house to house. And whatever city you enter, and they receive you, eat whatever's placed before you, and heal the sick there, and say to them, 'The reign of Elohim has come near to you.' And into whatever city you enter, and they do not receive you, go out into its streets and say this, 'Even the dust of your city which clings to us, we wipe off against you. But know this, that the reign of Elohim has come near to you. And I say to you that it shall be more bearable for Sodom in that day than for that city. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles which were done in you had been done in Sor and Sidon, they would have repented long ago, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But it shall be more bearable for Sor and Sidon at the judgment than for you. And you, Capharnaum, who are exalted to the heaven, shall be brought down to Sheol. He who hears you hears me. He who rejects you rejects me. And he who rejects me rejects him who sent me." And the 70 returned with joy, saying, "Master, even the demons are subject to us in your name." And he said to them, "I saw Satan falling out of the heaven as lightning. I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you. But do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names have been written in the heavens." In that hour, Yeshua exulted in the Spirit and said, "I praise you, Father, Master of the heaven and earth, that you have hidden these matters from clever and learned ones and did reveal them to babes. Yes, Father, because thus it was well-pleasing in your sight. All has been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son, and he to whom the Son wishes to reveal him." And turning to his taught ones, he said separately, "Blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For I say to you that many prophets and sovereigns have wished to see what you see and have not seen it, and to hear what you hear and have not heard it." And see, a certain one learned in the Torah stood up, trying him, and saying, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit everlasting life?" And he said to him, "What's been written in the Torah? How do you read it?" And he answering said, "You shall love Yehovah, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You've answered rightly. Do this and you shall live." But he, wishing to declare himself righteous, said to Yeshua, "And who's my neighbor?" And replying, Yeshua said, "A certain man was going from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among robbers, who both stripping and beating him went away, leaving him half dead. And, by coincidence, a certain priest was going down that way, and when he saw him, passed by the other side. And likewise a Levite also, when he came to the place and seeing, passed by on the other side. But a certain Shelomoh, journeying, came upon him, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and having placed him on his own beast, he brought him to an inn and looked after him. And going out the next day, he took out 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said to him, 'Look after him, and whatever more you spend, I shall repay you when I return.' Who then of these 3 do you think was the neighbor to him who fell among the robbers?" And he said, "He who showed compassion on him." Then Yeshua said to him, "Go and do likewise." And it came to be that they went, that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. She had a sister called Miriam, who also sat at the feet of Yeshua and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and coming up, she said, "Master, you're not concerned that my sister has left me alone to serve? Speak to her then, and help me." And Yeshua answering said to her, "Martha, Martha, you're worried and troubled about many matters, but one only is necessary. And Miriam has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken from her." Chapter 11. And it came to be, while he was praying in a certain place, as he ceased, one of his taught ones said to him, "Master, teach us to pray as Yohanan taught his taught ones." And he said to them, "When you pray, say, 'Our Father in the heavens, let your name be set apart. Let your reign come. Let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us day by day our daily bread. And forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone who's indebted to us. And do not lead us into trial, but rescue us from the wicked one.' And he said to them, 'Which of you shall have a friend and go to him at midnight and say to him, "Friend, lend me 3 loaves, since a friend of mine has come to me on this journey, and I don't have food to set before him"? The one inside answering says, "Don't trouble me, the door is already locked, and my children with me are in bed. I'm unable to get up and give it to you." I say to you, if he does not get up and give it to him because he is his friend, he shall get up and give it to him as many as he needs because of his persistence. And I say to you, ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. For everyone asking receives, and he who's seeking finds. And to him who's knocking, it shall be opened. And what father among you whose son asks for bread shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall give him a snake instead of a fish? Or if he asks for an egg, shall give him a scorpion? If then, being wicked, You know how to give good gifts to your children. How much more shall your Father from heaven give the set-apart Spirit to those asking him? And he was casting out a demon, and it was dumb. And it came to be when the demon had gone out that the dumb spoke. And the crowds marveled. And some of them said, "He casts out demons by Beelzebul, the ruler of demons." And others, trying him, were seeking from him a sign from heaven. And he, knowing their thoughts, said to them, "Every reign divided against itself is laid waste, and a house divided against a house falls. So, if Satan also is divided against himself, how shall his reign stand? Because you say I cast out demons by Beelzebul. Now, if I cast out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your sons cast them out? Because of this they shall be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the finger of Elohim, then the reign of Elohim has come upon you." When a strong man, having been well armed, watches over his own court, his possessions are in peace. But when one stronger than he comes upon him and overcomes him, he takes from him all his armor in which he trusted and divides his booty. "He who's not with me is against me. He who does not gather with me scatters." When the unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest, and finding none, he says, "I shall return to my house from which I came." And when he comes, he finds it swept and decorated. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that man becomes worse than the first. And it came to be, as he was saying this, a certain woman from the crowd raised her voice and said to him, "Blessed is the womb that bore you and the breasts which you sucked." But he said, "Blessed rather are those hearing the word of Elohim and watching over it." And while the crowds were thronging, he began to say, "This generation is wicked. It seeks a sign, and no sign shall be given it except the sign of Jonah the prophet. For as Jonah became a sign to the Ninevites, so also the son of Adam shall be to this generation. The sovereigness of the south shall rise up in the judgment with men of this generation and shall condemn them. For she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Shelomoh, and look, a greater than Shelomoh is here. The men of Nineveh shall rise up in judgment with this generation and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and look, a greater than Jonah is here. And no one, when he's lit a lamp, puts it in a hidden place or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in shall see the light. The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, all your body is also enlightened. But when your eye is evil, your body is also darkened. See to it, therefore, that the light which is in you is not darkness. If then all your body is enlightened, having no part in dark, all shall be enlightened, as when the bright shining of a lamp gives you light." And as he spoke, a certain Pharisee asked him to dine with him. So he went in and sat down. And when the Pharisee saw it, he marveled that he did not first wash before dinner. And the master said to him, "Now, you Pharisees make the outside of the cup and the dish clean, but the inward part is filled with greed and wickedness. Mindless ones, did not he who made the outside make the inside also? but give in kindness of that which is within, and see, all are clean to you. But woe to you, Pharisees, because you tithe the mint and the rue and every plant, and pass by the right ruling and love of Elohim. These you should have done without leaving the others undone. Woe to you, Pharisees, because you love the best seats in the congregations and the greetings and the marketplaces. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you're like the unseen tombs, and the men walking over them do not know. And one of those learned in the Torah answering said to him, Teacher, when you say this, you insult us too. And he said, Woe to you also, you learned in the Torah, because you load men with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. Woe to you, because you build the tombs of the prophets, and your fathers killed them. So you bear witness that you approve of the works of your fathers, because they indeed killed them, and you build their tombs. And because of this, the wisdom of Elohim said, I shall send them prophets and emissaries, and some of them they shall kill and persecute, so that the blood of all the prophets, which was shed from the foundation of the world, shall be required of this generation, from the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah, who perished between the slaughter place and the dwelling place. Yes, I say to you, it shall be required of this generation. Woe to you, learned in the Torah, because you took away the key of knowledge. You did not enter in yourselves, and those who were entering in, you hindered. And as he was saying this to them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to oppose him fiercely and to draw him out on many subjects, watching him and seeking to catch him in whatever he says, so as to accuse him. John chapter 10, verses 22 through 42. At that time, Hanukkah came to be in Jerusalem, and it was winter. And Yeshua was walking in the set-apart place in the porch of Shelomoh. So the Yehudim surrounded him and said to him, How long do you keep us in suspense? If you're the Messiah, say to us plainly. Yeshua answered them, I've told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness concerning me. But you do not believe, because you're not of my sheep, as I told you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them and they follow me, and I give them everlasting life, and they shall by no means ever perish, and no one shall snatch them out of my hand. My Father who's given them to me is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. Again, the Yehudim picked up stones to stone him. Yeshua answered them, Many good works I've shown you from my Father. Because of which of these works do you stone me? The Yehudim answered him, saying, We do not stone you for good work, but for blasphemy, and because you, being a man, make yourself Elohim. Yeshua answered them, Is it not written, In your own Torah, I said, you are Elohim. If he called them Elohim, to whom the word of Elohim came, and it's impossible for the scripture to be broken, do you say of him whom the Father set apart and sent into the world, you are blaspheming because I said I'm the son of Elohim? If I do not do the works of my Father, don't believe me. But if I do, though, you do not believe me. Believe the works, so that you know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him. Therefore they were seeking again to seize him. But he went forth out of their hand and went once more to the other side of the Jordan, to the place where Johanan was immersing at first. And there he stayed. And many came to him and said, Johanan indeed did no sign, yet all that Johanan said about this man was true. And many believed him there.